struggling. The NFL teams are struggling. I mean, the whole city of Cleveland. That's why I think the LeBron move was such a big impact.
Oh yeah,
LeBron was all Cleveland had.
Right. No.
Throughout every sport.
No doubt.
From Jim Brown. I mean, Jim Brown was the best player with the Cleveland Browns back in the day.
Right.
And LeBron was this existing factor throughout the city of Cleveland. And they left. They lost all this money.
Right.
But then you have, like I said, all these big cities that have those kind of teams, and they raise money and they get fans, and then fans join other fan bases, and they just come together, and that's why, they still have great attendance, and they're raising money, and that's why the ticket prices are going low, because a lot of people want to go to these games.
Right.
And they want to fill as many seats as they can.
Right, and I agree with you that I think that a lot of NBA cities that don't have other professional sports teams, like Portland or I'm trying to think of another
Charlotte.
one. Or like Charlotte. They don't have a baseball team, a hockey team. They don't have all the major sports. But you can look at it in another way. I mean, I'm looking at the 2011 attendance records for the NBA. The Trailblazers are third. They're selling out every game. In fact, they're at 102.3% for capacity, which means that they're somehow fitting more fans in. So, for the NBA,
all they got though.
Right, for the NBA, that's good because in Portland they don't have, any other, professional sports to see. So it's the Trailblazers. Right. So for the NBA that works. I don't know how it works for their city because I think that obviously the city would make more money if they had a professional baseball team, professional football team, professional hockey team.
I mean, they make money off of Oregon Ducks.
Oh yeah, right. So I'm saying, ideally you would like to have 30 NBA teams in cities where there are baseball, football, hockey, so that it's consistent. Right. But like I said, if you got a team like Portland who's out there and that doesn't have other, sports teams, they're third with attendance in the league. But the Bulls, who do have all those type of teams, are first. And,
wonder why.
And the Cavaliers are also second.
Right.
Which, the way they're playing right now, it'll probably drop a little bit.
Definitely.
But you've got Dallas at 4, the Knicks, the Heat. So you've got Dallas, who's got the Cowboys.
I'm surprised Boston's not all the way up there.
Well, the thing is,
they're ranked 10th.
Right. The thing is, they're ranked 10th, but they're selling out every game. They're at 100% capacity with 18,624. So they are selling out every game. They just don't have as many seats as the Bulls, Cavaliers, Trailblazers. So they're hitting capacity though. But there are some startling numbers, and once you get to the bottom of this list, you've got the Kings.
Yeah, the Hawks.
Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 NBA teams that aren't even hitting the 15,000 mark. That includes the Washington Wizards, Memphis Grizzlies, Atlanta Hawks, who are a good team.
I think it's because the arena, though, too. The arena is pretty small.
Well, that's true.
They fill out a lot of seats, but, I mean, there's 74.
74%, which isn't great, but that's just no excuse though. And I always bring it up that maybe a team that's struggling. When teams start to struggle, fans really don't want to see the games.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's different in different situations. I mean, the Bills look like they sell out every game, and their team's terrible. But for a team like Atlanta, I mean, they're a good team. They've made the playoffs, each of the past couple of years, and they have a solid team. And they're not even hitting the 15,000 mark. They're putting 13,918 people in the stands on average.
Right. And
honestly, you can even minus a couple hundred or so from each of these lists because they also incorporate season ticket holders. So those seats are already sold. They don't have to worry. You'll go to Boston or you go to Cleveland, you'll still see people. You'll still see some empty seats, but that's some of that's people not coming to the game, but that's also season ticket holders just not coming to the game.
Right, but you talk about a team like Sacramento Kings. They're in a state called California.
Yeah.
They have to deal with the LA Clippers. They have to deal with the LA Lakers. They have to deal with Golden State Warriors.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of teams in California that people can choose, and I know they're in different areas and stuff like that, city-wise, suburban, or you know what I mean.
Right.
So I mean, Sacramento, it's based on their team, of course, too. But I mean, if you're in LA, you're gonna root for the LA Lakers or the Clippers more than the Warriors or the Kings.
Right, and I agree with you that it's tough for like a Kings team who isn't great by any standards to compete with other teams in the surrounding area. You've got Golden State, both of the LA teams, so and then a different part of California too. So, but I mean, 13,294 a game. That's just not getting it done. It's 76%. So, but there are teams that like a Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio team who are in the same state. Granted, it's a big state, but they're putting in a good amount of fans, and they're all. But the thing is that they all have been relatively successful over the past couple of years. I mean, the Mavericks are 4th on the attendance list. You've got the Spurs at 13 and 20th of the Rockets. So, but what I go by more in these numbers are, it's obviously 13,294 for the Kings is bad, and
still a lot of people.
But if you're gonna look at this, you should look at the percentage of the seats that are being filled, because I mean, not every arena can hold 25,000 or 22,000 people like the Celtics. Obviously they sell out every game, but they're 10th on the list because their capacity is 18,624, evidently. So you have to look at the size of the arena. Also, like I said, location. I mean, the Kings are, they are facing 3 other Californian teams, so it's a little bit different. And that's another thing. Like the Clippers, it'd be interesting to see where they fall on this list. Where are the Clippers at?